Right, we're back again. This time I need to make some more boards. As we've got a craft fair coming up, I want to get a few more boards made, because in the last craft fair that we done, I sold out of all my boards, which I'm really happy with, and I like the predicament it gives me, because I've got to make some more so I can be a bit creative again in making something different. So I've got, as you can see in front of me, a few different selections of wood, some UK species, some exotic species, another lamp which I think is chestnut or chestnut. I've also got this bit that's hiding behind the camera, it's very dusty at the moment, that's wild mango. So I've got that wild mango as well. So I have a choice of different bits and pieces, different woods that I can play with. I have the sapele down here as well, but that's earmarked for another project that will be coming up soon. Yeah, so I'm having a little play around with combinations now, as in colour combinations. I'm unsure as to which ones at the moment. I've got it in my head which ones I like, but it's not set in stone, as with anything. So I'm going to go with, I think, the zebra wood, for one of them anyway. And I'm unsure whether I want to put some colour through it using something like the red heart or the African rosewood, or if I'm going to go with one of the lighter ones like this maple. I have to keep reminding myself of that one, don't know why. The maple, because I like that, that's a really bright colour, or a really bright light colour wood, and I think the zebra wood would stand off nicely against it, so you would see this would draw out a lot more. I'm wondering whether just to section it all and just make it in sticks and then glue them all together. I think that's the way I'm leaning towards with the maple and the zebra wood, just because I do like the contrast. You know, can't really see on the camera at the moment, but I do like the contrast between those, so I do think that's one of the options. I was contemplating on doing the cherry and using these three sticks, so sandwich the piece of ash between the two pieces of walnut and sticking that in the middle of a piece of cherry. So cut that board that I've got there in half and then just basically literally sandwich the whole thing together. However, the walnut does have a nice bit of flex to it, the ash doesn't, but I'm wondering whether I could do something different with that instead of being just straight lines. I like being a little bit different sometimes. So obviously the walnut has a lot of flex, so I could do something with a bit of wave in it, which I actually quite like the idea of. And then I don't want to add these two together because I think I don't think it goes. I've done a board before with Padauk and beech, and also Padauk and ash, and that looked really nice. So I could do something like that again, but instead of using the Padauk, because I don't have any of that at the moment, use the red heart and run that inside it, but then that will look too much like the other board. See, these are the processes that go through my head at the moment. I thought I'd bring you along for this little bit as well. Might not be to everyone's taste, but this is part of the process I go through, and you guys might like to see that as well. I think I am set on the coconut wood and the maple. I think I am set on that, so I'll stick that to the side for a minute. That eliminates that out of the way. And I think I like the idea of the cherry with these inside it. So that again, I'll stick out of the way. And then it leaves me with these. I don't have anything else thick enough to sort of suit it. Now I could do the ash and the red heart. Got an idea. Where is it? This is one of my templates I've got, or one half of a template that I got from Chop Designs. He's a producer of these. On Instagram you can find him if you go and have a look, Chop Designs. I'll try and see if I can find a link, or if YouTube lets me have a link. I could do something with these. It's the Romeo and Juliet boards. I could cut a piece of that, stick it between. Let me find the other half of this one. I know where it is. I need to go and get it. It's in the house. So I'm back. Found it. So that's the two pieces you get with the Romeo and Juliet board from Chop Designs. And obviously they sit together like that, if you can see it. I'm trying to sort of put it across my darker shirt, so you might be able to see the outline of it. So I'm wondering if I do something along them lines. So have two pieces of the ash with a bit of the red heart sandwiched in the middle. Most of that will end up on the bigger part, unless I do two sections of it. So I can't strip off this section, that in the middle. I could do. Try and get it to land in between this one as well as this one. So then it will add a red stripe through them both. I like that idea actually. I think that's a plan for that one. And then I've got the beech and the African rosewood. Now I don't have to make any more boards out of these. I can save these can be just in stock for now. Keep hold of them for the minute. However, I want to split this block of chestnut down, and I could always use a bit of the African rosewood in that, just to add a bit of colour into that, because it's not too bright. But I think that might be a nice contrast between those actually. I think that's a plan. So, now I also have these two pieces. They're there for another day as well. And I think that will be more of a wood and resin project. I think I've got the plan in my head for that. So, I need to fold up the workbench, get my table saw set up, so I can start ripping some of this down. I also have this oak bowl that is still playing in my head as to what I'm going to do with that. Again, there is an idea. My other half came up with an idea which I do like the sound of as well. I do like to maybe have a little play with that, but that again for a later date. It's always good when you get sent them sort of things. Asked if you want. Of course. Bit of a silly question that really, isn't it? Now things have found a new one, I can actually get it set up. This is also part of the thing I'm looking at potentially changing, not definitely, but potentially changing when I do the rejig of the workshop. But like I say, that's only potential changing at the moment. Workshop is definitely changing at some point, and that this either will be incorporated in a different way or will be changed completely. And now, because of where it is, I have to use it as a table too for the moment. The results of some of the copper pipes at legs, that's what's left over. The test one, that is. I learned plenty of ways of how not to make copper legs, or in the style that I wanted to. The fence is still over there. Do you mind passing it? No, I'll reach. Don't stretch yourselves. So that's those bits cut down to the thickness I want. I need to cut this in half now. I need to get those and cut those in half as well. I kept calling this red heart just now. It's not red heart. Don't know what was going on in my head. It's a pele. It's one of my favourite woods as well. I can tell from the smell of it. It's a really nice smelling wood actually. I like cutting this. But I don't know what I had in my head calling it red heart. So I need to cut that down in half. I need to cut these in half. I need to get myself a decent miter jig for this. This one's alright, it's good, it does the job. I find when I'm using it, I'm better off using it, locking it down to this part, because this part, right, that's the wrong bit. Like that, Wally. So when I use this, I find I have a better result if I use it locked down to the borders instead, so it doesn't have as much play then, so I get a nice crisper cut. Right, that's all those cut down at the moment. So effectively, it'll be like that. And these will go in there like that. So the colours do run between both of them. Can't actually get that on camera at the moment, but I'll take a picture of it and add it in. I like that. And then I have a couple of bits left over again. Cherry. So this I need to cut basically just in, I think I'm going to cut it in half and then work out from there how I'm going to do the other bits. So those two will glue back together, and then those are what I'm going to run through it. And I think I know now how I'm going to do that. I won't share that with you yet, we'll see that in the process. So that is all of those cut. No, it's not, I need to cut them in half. But I'm going to glue them up first. Right, so this one won't stay as it is. This one is going to be used with some of my templates and it'll be cut out. But I've added a little bit of extra wood into there. I've added some of the zebra wood into that, just to, one, make it a little bit wider so the templates fit on it much nicer, and it gives me a little bit more of a room to play around where I want the templates to sit, and two, it just adds another colour into it, it makes it a little bit nicer. This one with the cherry, I've added also the Paduke into that. So I did say, I think at the start of the video, that that is Sapele. It's not, it's actually Paduke. That was my mistake. And then I'm going to change this one up a little bit by doing something I've seen some other people do and I like the look of. Is basically run it from a bandsaw and just get some weird little lines in it. And then I've got this walnut here which is thin, and that will flex enough into a couple of different ways that I'll be able to make a nice little detail in it as well. So everything now is done, including the chestnut and the rosewood. They all do need cutting down. All this needs cutting down, but I'm going to leave them long. I'm going to cut them down once I've actually got them all glued together. So that is obviously the next stage. I'm using Typebond 3. Just that's what I like to use when I'm doing the boards. It's water resistant, waterproof, and it's also food safe. So it's good to go. Now this one, I'm also playing with the idea of changing it up and making it look a bit different as well. So it may not stay the same either. As in, it may not just stay stripes. But stick with us and you'll find out. Always think to myself, get your clamps ready beforehand, Steve. And then of course I forget. Or I don't forget, I just don't do it. Okay, so you know what it's like to glue up some boards now. I'm going to get on with these last couple because I've just got to work out where I'm putting them as well, space and all that, and then I'll get back to you shortly. Right, okay, so these have had a day in the clamps, drying out. Now it's time to pop them all out, see what we've got. And we'll start on the next side then of what I'm going to be doing with these boards. There's one. Obviously everything needs a clean up. And yes, I know on all the calls it would have been better if I used some tape. But as you can see from watching the rest of the video, I didn't do it. I just didn't think of it at the time. Whether I didn't think of it, whether I just couldn't be bothered, who knows. It's one of them things. But they don't take a lot to get them off in the grand scheme of things. Now this is where it'd be lovely to have an actual planer thicknesser. But one, I don't have the space for it, which is why I want to rejig the workshop a little bit, try and come with something like that in. And two, it's getting the funds together for it. And some clamps make good hammers too. But I probably shouldn't use my nice shiny new ones. Don't tell the in-laws or the upper half. So obviously the next stage is now to trim them all down, or trim this one down anyway, cut the excess off that I've got here, and then I can start working out what I'm doing with this one and then playing with these other two as well. Now as you know, it's a bit of a pain for me to keep setting up the table saw, so I'm not going to do that with this, as I'm only just trimming this one down at the moment. I'll just get it on the miter saw. Helps if it's plugged in, doesn't it? Now you all know these ain't going nowhere, apart from there. My offcuts I keep. Right, so I've been playing with different ideas what to do with this one. I'm either going to leave it as it is, or the plan was to cut it down and then turn over every other section all the way along, make it a bit more like a chessboard effect, which I think would look quite nice, especially with this grain. And it's a bit more than what I've done with the normal boards. This is the only one that's really going to stay pretty much as it is. Obviously it will be flattened off, cleaned up and come out all pretty. Right, ready to start gluing this one up now, and I've changed direction a little bit. Still the same sort of way it's going to go, but rather than leaving it, just gluing it together this way, I've actually decided to do basically an end grain one. And I'm stacking it that way instead. Makes the board a little bit thicker that way, shrinks down the length, which I quite like the look of, and yeah, just changes it up again. Gives a slight different impact, but I like it. So we're going to go with that way. And I'm just going to be messy with the glue. I know some of you might not like it. Make sure they stay straight. And I think that's got enough pressure on from all different angles. Plenty of squeeze. So that'll be good. And it has only turned out a little board, but I don't care about that, I quite like it. Let's get this one next. I need to get them ones cut down to size. Let's talk as well. What do you guys listen to when you're in your workshop, in your shed, in your garage, wherever you are? Me, as you can see, I've normally got an earbud in. That's me listening to people that keep calling me. The other one is I've got my radio in the corner. That's normally got something wacky on, whether it's sorry, bear with me. Yeah, so I've normally got something on the radio. It's generally something old, and it could be anything from old school, sort of like 70s, 80s, rock, pop, whatever. Not really generally pop, but it's rock, reggae, R&B, anything like that. Bit of an eclectic soul. And that will change from decade to decade. Sometimes I'll come down here and I'll stick the radio on and I'll say, well, you know what, let me whack something else on, and it might go on to something like a 70s station instead, or a 60s station, 80s, 90s, whatever. What do you guys listen to? Now I am only sort of putting this as a dry run. Just want to make sure it's all right once it's all clamped up and we're all good. I think we're good. Frames it quite nicely, in fact. So I'm happy with that. Right, let's get gluing up. So once the frame, I'm not going to do anything really with the frame until after it's been glued up. I'm going to set it all up, get it done, and then I'm going to shape the corners with the actual sander. I just think it's going to be a nicer finish, and because of the lengths of wood that I've got that I'm framing it with, they're not quite long enough to make 45s out of, or any sort of other joint there really. So I'm going to do a butt joint on it. It will still be plenty strong enough. As we know from all the tests that have been on YouTube and everyone else, the glue's strong. So we're good with that. Right. Now I know I've said on my last couple of videos, thank you to all the new subscribers, but I just want to say it again. It does mean a great deal that you people are taking your time out of your days, you know, whether it is just you're having your lunch break and you can't find anything else to watch and you're just watching me do some whatever I'm doing in the workshop at the time. it means a lot. Let's say whether it's your lunch break, whether you are actually sitting at home having a beer and just watching me be a Wally, whatever. Thank you. And I mean it. Thank you a lot. The other thing that you guys could do, that I know a lot of you do, but there's a few out there at the moment, and it's only because YouTube now shows you a lot of statistics that are not subscribed that watch it, and I'm super thankful that you are even watching it, let alone anything else. But if you are watching it and you're enjoying any of it, please go ahead and give it a subscribe. You know, it helps out the channel more than what you realise. Helps me grow things, and I'll be able to offer a bit more in the future as well as we do that. It means a lot. As I say, your views mean a lot anyway, so if you don't feel the need to subscribe, you know, you don't have to. No one's forcing anyone. But if you could, it'd mean a great deal. Okay, so this one, like I say, I'm going to cut so it actually snakes through the board. Something like that. So I know you can't, you can see, something like that. That's what I'm going to roughly go for. And then the other one will go the other way. I've got the design drawn out on the board. I've got it so I can actually run through, and I'll make it out the other side. So let's crack on. Now if it messes up, I've got two different boards.
So that's that cut done. Let's get a piece of walnut. There's actually that piece on that cut, so we'll do that one. And let's clamp.
And that is roughly what it will look like. And then bear in mind it will have one going the other way as well. I will get that line to run nicely. Or try to. So let's get this glued up. Right, that's that one glue up in glue. Right, so that one I'm going to have to let dry, so it's very clamped up again. I'm going to have to let that one dry now, and then I'll do the other cut going the other way. Hopefully that will help out even in the lines. I need to get the templates stuck back on these and give these going over. But what I'll do first, actually, I'll drill out the holes with the pillar drill to where the handle goes. Then obviously I can wrap that out as well, make that nice. Let's get cracking. Right, so we're now set up. Got the route set up. Got the templates stuck to the board. Got my flush trim bit. I need to get a templating bit really. That would be the best thing for this, but you work with what you got. I've got that, so that's what we're going to go for. So PPE, let's get cracking. Now always, we're using something that's going to be spinning around at such speed, sending off bits. Glasses as well as a mask. Best thing you could do. Right, there's that board done as well. So they turned out really, really nice. As I say, I'll try and put a link into where I get the templates from. Right, so we're back with these. It's been about a day, 2 days or so with these sitting in clamps, so they are fully dry, ready to rock and roll with. The one that I've put the walnut strips through, I cut that one off camera just because it's just a little bit quick. You've already seen me cut one of them, it's no different. I've glued up that second strip now, so that'll be a surprise for you when that comes out of clamps. But I want to router the handles in these, I call them butcher block style ones. These are the ones that were cut from that tabletop that I showed you, or from that small plank of wood that I showed you. So I need to do the handles on those, and then everything can have a sanding. So just get cracking, take these out of clamps, see what they look like. So that's my mini end grain block one. That's the one with the frame. Now I'm not worried about the corners because I'm actually going to round them over anyway on the sander. So I'm not worried that they don't all meet up. That wasn't the plan. Now that's it with the frame. I actually quite like that one. So these are the ones I need to do the handles on. And then I've just got to soften these edges because that's obviously where they will cut from each other, cut into 3. So I just need to soften that edge over as well. But obviously I'll do that when I'm doing the sanding. So I'm going to do them along this edge here. Now I never thought about clamping stuff to the side of the table before, but it works out well. I might have to set up something on the side, some more dog holes or something to make an actual bracket on there. That's part of the future plans anyway. I have thought about making a template and stuff for these, but I'm just going to do it freehand. I'm not too bad with it freehand. And as I'm only doing a small slot and I'm only going in part of the way, it's not going to be the end of the world. Done. There's 3 of them done, or 3 of the notches done anyway. I'm going to carry on doing the others, and then I'll catch you back up when I'm sanding. Alright, so when I set up, ready to go ahead with these boards, start getting them sanded. So I'm just going to crack on it. I'm not going to talk too much on this one. Now that's obviously only one side done, and that gives you the look of it. Really quite like that. So I'm going to flip it over, going to carry on, but you don't need to stand there and watch me do that. I'm going to crack on. Right, we're now setting up to give the boards a final sand. I've got them down to 180 at the moment. I'm going to give them a little spritz of water, then run them over with a 240, and then that's where I'm going to leave them. And then I'm going to wax them up, and that's it. But I'm not going to sand them any more than 240. I've got the butcher block style ones to do, all my stacker boards here, and this one. And they're all turning out really nice actually, I'm quite happy with them. Gave this one thing I've done off the camera, and you've seen me do it before, and I've just give this one a small little chamfer around the edge. So that will be the bottom of the board. So it has that small little chamfer there. Just give it a little bit of a profile, different profile, and also gives you a way of picking it up a bit easier. So I'm happy with that, I'm happy with them all. So let's crack on, let's get it. So I like this stage of sanding, just because one, it gives you a glimpse as to what it's going to look like once you've given it a little spritz of water. And two, the finish, once you do this stage, and you get all these little fairy bits that come off, and it's all the fibres to stand up once they've got some moisture on them, it just makes them so smooth and just really nice to touch. You don't have to do it, it's by all means you don't have to do it, but what a lot of people do generally find is that if you do skip this stage, then once the board goes for its first wash, once it's finished, you sometimes get some of them little fibres stand up through that. It's not always that nice. You want a nice 100% finished product, you know, nice and smooth. As good as you'd want in your home is what you want to give to your customer. That's the way I look at it. It's, if I'm happy with it in my house, then I'd be happy to sell it on to a customer. Sometimes I go a bit beyond as well for the customers. So let's crack on. I don't know what happened to the camera just then, but for some reason it shut off and I didn't realise until now. Not that you missed much, all you've missed is me doing a bit more sanding, that's all. So the next step now, after all that sanding, is basically just to finish them, give them a waxing. The only one I'm not going to do anything with at the moment is this one. This is the chestnut and African rosewood. It's turned out really nice, but because it's got, I've said already, I know I have, but it's because it's got these crevices, I'm going to fill them with resin. So that's going to stay like that. Hopefully I'll get it done for the end of this video. If not, I'll give you an update on that one anyway, because there's a lot to go through in a minute. So let's go and wax him. We'll start with these ones. So I actually sell my wood wax as well. It's one I make myself. That's the one, and that's what it looks like. It's unscented, so it is just mineral oil and beeswax. But I find out of all my boards, stuff that I've used over the years, all the waxes, this on whatever I use it on leaves a good, nice, long-lasting finish. Now, as they're their first waxes, as it's the first wax for all of these boards, I give a very liberal coat over the whole lot, and then I'll leave it until probably tomorrow and let it all sink in, let the wood draw in all the oils from the wax and obviously the mineral oil, and then that'll be it done. Now if you do buy a board or anything from me that's wood, like these, the boards and tables and stuff that I make, I do give a tin of the wood wax with it as well. I feel it's a nice little thank you. But you can purchase it separately on my website, and I'll see if I can get a link for that either on here or on my Insta. I think I've actually got a link for it on my Instagram already. Now, if you're not following me on there, you can follow me on all my other socials. That's Insta, yeah, Facebook, and my other half has even set up a TikTok. So there's some videos that she puts up there. That's her domain. I'll leave her running with that one. I really like how that one's turned out after the waxing. They're nice tower boards now. I always love giving Paducah wax, just as the colour, just amazing. It really is one of my favourite woods, for the smell, for the look. Do like that. Alright, let me see. Now I think this has to be one of my more favourite boards I've done for a while, and that is because of that one, the Paducah, so the colour in the middle, and then the walnut cutting through it. It's because I've never done anything. It's not come out perfect, but I'm not bothered by that because nothing is perfect. So it's got, you can see about the shine on it, it's got quite a bit of a misalignment in the lines in the middle there. Might be able to see better on that side, and that's just because of the way, I think I explained through the video, the way the wood's cut. You can't get it back 100% straight. I mean, I'm sure there is a way of doing it, and I'm sure there's some better woodworkers out there that can do it and have done it, but with me, that was the only way. And the reason that it happened is because I've put that curve through it. Obviously you can't align the woods in the same way, so there's always that added thickness, which obviously then pushes these lines apart. If it was just a straight cut straight through, you could then move the wood along and you'd be able to line up the wood. Now if you add in more and more woods in there, I don't think you would end up getting everything all 100%. I could be completely wrong on that, and I more likely am, but that's just my take on it. Like I say, I'm not bothered by it because nothing in this life is perfect, and it's handmade. But that for now is all the boards done. So we'll leave them to dry. So it's the next day now. Now we're getting around to giving these boards a good wipe over, getting all the excess wax off, and seeing what they really look like. So far so good. know if you can see that any better. So that's cherry, Paduke, I think it was maple that I put in the middle of that one, and walnut. That's turned out really nice. As you see, that's the chamfer that I put around the bottom. Give me dusty fingers all over it again. That's the other half of the Romeo and Juliet board. Turned out really nice. I do like them. And that's my mini, I'm not going to call it a chessboard, I'm going to call it a block board. My little blocks, end grain, is where I've done them in the end. Boom boom. So that's the end grain one. It's only a small board, you see it's only a tiny little thing, but I like it, still, it's come out decent. There's that one. Another little block one. Turned out really nice actually. Definitely gets the sweat worked up this bit. So that's one of the big boys. See, that's the little grooves I've done in it for the handles. Turned out decent. I know I've said that for everyone so far, but they have. So I'm going to crack on doing these now. I'm not going to show you these ones because they're exactly the same as that. So let's just crack on and get it done. That is it all done. That's all then finished. Now, if you do want to order one of these boards, drop me a message on one of my socials. I'll put the links in the description. You can always go over there and drop me a message or comment on here. I'll contact you back if I can. I do get round to reading the comments. Not many at the moment, but there is comments there. So I do get round and contacting people back and speaking through there. So that is it all done, all finished. Thank you for following along with this one. Slightly different, just shows you a bit more of an insight into what I do with the boards that I make. We all have a slightly different way of doing things. Neither are right or wrong. I'm sure some of my ways are wrong, but they still turn out good, so no complaints here. Right, so that's it for now. Don't forget, while you're here, like and subscribe. Why not? You're watching already. It also keeps you noted when I put up other videos. I've got a couple of interesting ones coming. The next one that I get up, or hope to sort of put up as soon as possible, is one I've wanted to try for a little while. I've seen other people do it and I wanted to put my little spin on it. I've got some supplies around here that I'm going to put into it. So keep an eye out for it, and I'll see you then. See you next time.